Forget trying to keep up with AI. It's moving too fast. It's time to think differently about it. Welcome to the AI Readiness Project, hosted by 𝗏𝗏 and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. They're here to help you build the mindset to thrive in an AI-driven world and prepare for what's next.
Got our bop going. Hey, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
It's a bop. Hi, how you doing?
It just hit me how color coordinated we are.
We
Look,
are color coordinator.
You've gone vibrant. I've gone a little more muted.
Yep. And I think you should tell the nice people that you have new hardware that we're working with today, because they are hearing your voice differently than they've heard it before.
Yes, and I know that everyone is tracking how my voice sounds in recorded media,
Yes.
and so it's going to sound different, maybe better, maybe worse. But this is an actual. That's not just a piece of foam I have on a stick. It's an actual microphone I'm talking into. And you wouldn't put it past me to just put a piece of foam on a stick to make it look like I have a professional setup, right?
100% wouldn't put it past you. I mean, the box metaphor, shtick, say no more. For those who don't know, Kyle is on the interwebs, on the LinkedIn and the YouTube every single night, talking about AI, and he often uses inanimate objects to teach us very, very complicated concepts like a box. If you really think about it, a box is kind of like a large language model in a way. Oh, there we go. We've got them.
This is the box.
We've got the box that is also a large language model.
That's right. I can explain how large language models work with a box. So
with a box,
I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
we at the AI. I want to tell you. I have another piece of information for the nice people, which, given that our episodes come out a little bit out of order, this will have maybe be old news, because it's obviously going to be household news. We have recorded 25 episodes of the AI Readiness Project.
Amazing.
Woo!
That's actually a big deal. That's a big deal. Most people don't get past 9. 9 is sort of flame out number.
9 is the flame out number. We're well beyond that. Folks may not know that they are currently appreciating season 0. We will be moving into season 1 this fall.
And informed me that we are now in seasons, and we haven't even begun yet, so that's awesome.
We haven't even really. Can you imagine? We haven't even gotten started, everybody.
We just have not.
I bet they're probably like, "Hey, I have an idea, and why don't you start this actual episode? Why don't we talk about AI?"
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Are you?
So here's a question, and we never know who's going to go first on this one. I will dub you going first on this one. How ready for AI are you this week?
Well, I'm in that uncomfortable space of rethinking some of my points of view that I thought I had already figured out. Thank you very much. And now I'm having to look at them again. And so that's been a little bit uncomfortable. And one, I'm going to blame on you, because due to the LinkedIn or the TikTok algorithm, you reposted a video, and that actually sent the original video to me. So I got this video of this singer-songwriter producer who you posted, because he was talking about Suno and how Suno had made another version of his song in 10 seconds. But the reason why his kind of share really made me think again about my take on original art versus AI art is because he walked us like moment by moment through playing his own song, singing his own song, right? Live with us there. Then he had Suno do a riff on it. And then he had Suno do another riff on it.
Do a production on it, yeah.
A production on it, yes. And then without even, Suno had not even heard the whole song. It only heard like 15, 20 seconds of it. And to watch his experience that was that both and, right? It was AI is coming for my job. That's what he started off the
He
video with.
started
And
it
then
out. I'm making this. He goes, "This may be the most important video I've ever made because AI is coming for my job." And like
because AI is coming for my
you
job.
just know he's going to go into like this negative rant about it.
Negative, but then he doesn't. He comes around to, this is astounding. This is remarkable. How, like, kudos to the people at Suno. So if he can live in both places of, yes, this organic, right, music that I make myself from my brain and my lungs and all that kind of stuff. And there's also this synthetic version that is also amazing. It made me rethink kind of my hard-heartedness at times about, people just suck it up. AI is here. Just adjust. Just flip the switch and
Yeah.
adjust. And I started to think about how I actually can admit to myself that music that if I know it's made by a human, only a human, I am likely to appreciate it in a way that makes it actually better.
It goes up a little notch.
It
Yeah,
goes up a little.
It's he followed up that video. So there's a couple of things about that video. The song that he plays is called, I think it's called LA Moon or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's he's already had his 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗄𝗏 moment off screen, right? He heard that he could do this, he did it. And so this is just post, his 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗄𝗏 moment of awe. And he plays the song and he's kind of testing Suno, and he used the words, I'm as offended as I am impressed.
Yes, I'm as offended as I am impressed.
And then his follow-up videos are different genres of songs that he's written. Like one that he does is like his most complicated song, and he sees if Suno can do that. And one is a song, a little guitar riff song that he wrote for a music teacher when he was 17. And he said, I've always wanted to hear this as a string quartet. And then it's moving me because he like plays this little ditty that he wrote when he was 17 for his music teacher, and he just instantly hears it as this 4-string quartet, and you can just see the wonder and fear like coexisting in him at the same time. And that's in the 5 stages of AI adoption that we talk about in the AI Salon. Stage 3 is wonder and fear simultaneously. And he's right in the middle of it. And it is funny. He, some of the other things that he talked about is he got a lot of hate for that video, that people were like, oh, you're out here, hawking AI and this and that. And he got a lot of hate. And he said, in the later videos, he said, listen, you can hate me all you want, but he goes, this stuff's here and it's remarkable. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to write songs. It just means things are changing, and he's learning. And it's just, it was his name's Fernando. I forget his last name, but maybe we can put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing where it felt to me, and like an important video, because it was someone who was thrust into AI awareness, was thrust into AI. Like someone said, oh, you could put your own song into this thing and it'll just, it'll produce it for you. And he tried it and was blown away. But rather than just running and hiding, he said, hey, I'm going to play with this thing. I'm going to play with that out loud, and I'm going to let you experience it while I experience it. So I thought it was quite important.
Really, really. Yeah. And it definitely just kind of like opened the book back up for me to think differently about this notion of, well, it's here, so buck up, right? It's like, no, it's more nuanced than that, for sure.
Well, one of the other things that strikes me about someone like him is this is a guy, he's been writing songs for 30 or 40 years, right? He's established in the industry. He's a produced songwriter. Makes his living off it likely. If he embraces Suno, what I can promise you is that he's going to use Suno in a very different way than someone who's never written a song before. And he'll be able to leverage and amplify his talent in ways that might even surprise him, where he might be able to take fragments of old songs he never finished or things like that and really bring them to life in compelling ways. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to be sad, and it's not going to affect his employment, and there are things to process, and it's just, things are changing, right? And I think what was so remarkable about his video is we get to witness in real time,
In real time.
someone processing this. But I think to a great degree, everyone's going to have to process this. You either choose to be in it, right? What the AI readiness project is about is, hey, it's coming whether you want it or not. So you might as well step in and figure out what it means to you and what it makes possible. But even if you don't choose that, at some point you're gonna be in the situation he was, where it's like, I had no idea.
I had no idea. And don't you can just see watching him that he's better positioned to do something like exquisite now than any of the people who are accusing him of being like a shill for like big AI or something. He's appreciating the whole spectrum of it, and he's going to be able to do some stuff that's super magical, like being able to see this piece played as an orchestra that he's been thinking about his whole life. Imagine what's next. He's just hitting the top of the iceberg right now.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you? How AI ready are you?
I had a good epiphany this week. Epiphanies are always good. And there's so much going on with AI, so much of the time. I think that video with Fernando maybe informed this. But I was having a conversation with Cindy Kuhn, who's taking this big AI consultant certification. It's this big multi-month certification program that she paid for and she's doing. And she said it's really good. There's nothing remarkable in it. It's basic, like, it's basically like, here's how to be a consultant with AI, right? It's a relatively straightforward course. But what she told me she realized was that the most important thing for her consulting practice is who she authentically is.
Yeah.
That it's that she said to me, I spend a lot of time trying to fit who I am into these different buckets for different people. And she realized that her genius is her wacky, wacky, crazy, brilliant self, right? Yeah. And as the words were coming out of her mouth, like, I was immediately going, well, wait, what's my authentic self? What am I doing? Because I feel like with this AI stuff, I have been kind of trying to shapeshift when I'm in different audiences. I maybe shapeshift a bit or try to, not be as weird. And, but with both Cindy and I, individually and collectively, we're weirdos. You can't hide the weirdness, right? It just is what it is. And so I started thinking about it, and just it immediately came to me that for me, the thing that my career has always been some version of is the intersection of, the latest technology and self-expression.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that actually really excites me about AI. It's what my book Feed Your Prompt is about. It's about feeding it you, so the AI amplifies you and your ideas. Well, what's that about? That's about self-expression. And I think as humans, we want to make meaning. We want to impact other people. And how do you do that? Well, by being your authentic self and by saying who you are and putting it out there. It's a simple but not easy lesson that I keep learning over and over and over again. Be your authentic self. Say the things that need to be said. If you have an idea, get it in the world. All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was the epiphany had nothing to do with AI, but everything to do with AI, because AI is this magnificent humanity amplifier. So if you feed it your humanity, you get rewarded with, oh, that idea was that's actually a really good idea. You get to take joy in, like Fernando, when he played that song he wrote when he was 17 and it just started playing this string quartet. He'd always wanted to hear it in his head that way, but never did it. And now just there it was. And you just see him kind of take pride in it. And he was talking about his teacher from back then and what the song meant to him when he wrote it and what it means now. And it's just like that. Those are magical moments in life. And so for me, that was a big breakthrough just personally, and give me some clarity on a bunch of my projects.
Yeah. Makes so much sense. Well, let's see, our next conversation that we're having today, even because sometimes for the nice people out there, sometimes we record multiple episodes on Sundays because we're not always live on Wednesdays. Our guest is a member of the Daily AI Show, and I always use them as the perfect example of, in AI as consultants, it's not going to be about what our knowledge base is. I mean, yes, as far as a blunt instrument, are you really tech? Are you non-tech? Are you in this niche? Are you in that niche? But there's lots of us who are, in some ways, like our technical background and stuff, our ability to do the consulting is even Steven.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at these, 6 people on squares on your screen, and you know who you're drawn to. Just like Cindy's client. Cindy is a time traveling, kooky weirdo genius, and people who want that, and they're going to know her. Same with you, same with me. And so the piece about self-expression, though, that I think is important and super relevant right now is that as we are trying very hard to get our real selves, sometimes the most palatable version of ourselves, but our real selves out there into the world, this is why we need to have that AI intuition, the overall court sense of AI, is because when ChatGPT 4 became ChatGPT 5, the way 5 is going to express us is different than the way 4 did. And so that's where now we take all of the AI readiness that we have, right? Thank goodness we have it. Not everybody does. Some people are growing it through our program.
Yep.
And you take all of that and now you double down on it and you go, wait a second. The first and foremost thing is me.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm putting me into it. What does the me on the other side of it look like?
Yeah.
And is that really true to me? And if it's not, what do I need to do to fix it? Not, boo-hoo, Sam Altman took my machine away. I need a new one. That's not what you can spend your time on. Spend your time on figuring out how you're going to use this tool to do what you want it to do. And that's the piece of where self-expression comes, intersects, I think, with some of the drama that we're having with the new models.
Yeah. No, I think it's huge. I think you used the term court sense, which I'm pretty sure is a basketball term. And
it's a basketball
You're
term.
talking with someone who probably would get kicked out of the stands of a basketball game, much less the court. But we'll let that slide. No, I think what you're talking about is absolutely critical. I think one of the biggest challenges with AI right now is that it is so capable that it's really easy to not put your point of view and yourself in the center of it. You can sort of treat it as this thing off to the side. Oh, it's going to be my genius. It's going to write great poetry for me. It's going to write a great business plan for me. No. You're still going to do that, right? Because you know what's good. You know who you are, what you're trying to express. So let me take us into a thing to pay attention to this week, and this is almost like an exercise this week. I'm kind of excited about it. So I'm gonna see if Anne, if you can think of one of these. So what I think would be a very good exercise to do for the following week is go back in your personal archives. Go back to your notebooks from high school, your little poetry notebooks, or your sketchbooks, or think of if you've got a thing of business ideas that you've never gotten around to. We all have some archive of those things that we'll get around to at some point that we never have. And as you get older, you start to resign yourself to, well, maybe that's never going to happen. And I remember when I did, when I was first learning about custom GPTs, I went and I found one of my old screenplays, a 30-year-old screenplay, and I created a storyboarding, it was like a companion. I uploaded the screenplay as the knowledge source for this custom GPT, and you could ask about the plot and the characters, but you could also say, give me like a screenshot of a scene of the film. And it made these scenes of the film. And what was fascinating, just like moving to me, was it it brought it all back to me as if I was still writing it. So there's something about those ideas that are old that you haven't done anything with. There's still something in there, and if you can use AI, and then so go find them, go find an interesting one, and then put it in ChatGPT or put it in Midjourney or put it in Suno. If you've got a fragment of a song that you started but never finished, go put it in Suno. So that's my thing to pay attention to this week is like, just go find a fragment of your self-expression and defragmentize it. Like get it out of your head into the world, out of that notebook into ChatGPT. See what it turns into for you. Because what I've experienced is that there's some very deep joy when you find those things that you were super passionate about but abandoned at some point, and you kind of bring them back in and let AI amplify it for you. There's something there.
I have this story that I wrote in 5th grade that actually I won an award. I won it was like a young authors award, and it's about this place where we go on vacation every summer. And I've been going there since I was like 7 years old.
Wow.
Now, if we'd had AI a while ago, I could have made my children there's children's books based on my story, and I could have made a movie out of it or something. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it for myself, and then have it digitized for the first for number one. It'll actually be digitized then, because it's like it was written on a typewriter.
Right. Yeah. Beautiful.
And who knows what I'll be able to make with it by the time I have grandkids, but at least it'll be digitized and I'll be able to then.
Yeah, that's so awesome. There was a good friend of mine, Kevin Clark, who I wrote Collective Intelligence with. You know Kevin. Kevin at one point he had audio recordings of both his father and his aunt, his father's sister, and they grew up on the railroad, building the railroad between Texas and Chicago. Their dad worked for the railroad, and they lived in railroad cars as the tracks were being built. And so you had these audio recordings of their time, their time doing that. And so we took the transcripts and we put them into a GPT, and we were building something for Kevin to be able to work on this book. And he had always wanted to write this as a book, as a kind of story of his father. And as we're writing it, I'm realizing that oh my God, this would make a good children's book of like this girl living on the train with her brother, and you know what I mean? There was just something about it, kind of this magical thing. And Kevin had never considered it being a children's book. And 2 days later, he goes, Kyle, here's the children's book. He went and he turned it into a children's book. He made all of the images. And so again, it was this thing. He had these recordings. His father died, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. He'd had these recordings for years. And just all of a sudden they went into ChatGPT. They came alive because I saw it. I was like, oh, it could be this. And then 2 days later, he now has this children's book of this really remarkable story. Right. And so that just seems to me that is if you're feeling down or overwhelmed with all the tech and things like that, just go find a seed of an idea from another era in your life, and just watch what you can do with it when you start to play across these different tools.
Yeah, maybe as a reward when you're starting to like organize your digital files, because we need to clean up our digital files, everybody. So I know he feels called out. Yeah, I know he's crawling under his desk right now. I know it's like the worst.
It's so bad.
Maybe your reward is, every few hours you get to take a little Easter egg out of there and turn it into an image or something, something to get
it doesn't need to all be so serious. Like AI is so serious, and it's copyright, and it's this and it's that, and it's the robots are going to kill us. I don't know. Maybe just tell a cool story.
Maybe make a picture of something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe just make a picture that gives someone some joy. Be wacky.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that serious all the time, I guess, right?
All the time. It doesn't. Well, why don't we jump in? Why don't you tell the good folks about She Leads AI, and then I'll talk about the AI salon. I really want to get Sid up here. I'm really excited.
Me too.
For our guest this week.
So I wanted to share one of the things we're up to in She Leads AI right now, because I think that Sid will be interested as well. So inside She Leads AI, which is an organization that unites accomplished women to advance AI for global prosperity. Inside our organization, we have She Leads Reads. So it's a book club. We're on our 4th book right now, and this one is Unmasking AI, My Mission to Protect What is Human in a World of Machines. And it's by 𝗦𝗵𝗶𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗄. And she is, I've only listened to like the first 30 minutes. I mean, she starts off with a banger of a story, and I'm learning immediately through her storytelling. But it really surfaces a lot of the social justice questions that we have. And I learned already about something called the coded gaze. So there's the male gaze and how our world is structured around the male gaze. The coded gaze is how everything is structured for how it can be perceived by machines.
Interesting.
Us into, right? So that's an example. So if you're looking for a place where you can read books, or by the way, our book club, you don't even have to read it. We don't care. We just want to hear your ideas. So if you're looking for a place where you can come talk about ideas, what's going on in AI, the ethics, the companies, your own personal work, or you want to be in a membership community where we do peer mentorship, or you want to come to events, or you want to attend Social Saturday or be part of our AI Academy, these are all options and more for being involved with She Leads AI. And we invite all women in AI, or even a little bit curious about AI, to join us on Social Saturdays. It's free. We're there from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific every single weekend. So everyone who's listening, you are invited. Just go to sheleadsai.ai to find out more.
You know what's funny about She Leads AI is every time I'm on a call where you talk about it and there's men on the call, the men are like, "Can I join?" And you're like, "No." It's our little space. We're good, but thanks. But it says something to me that there's something powerful enough about this organization that, like, people want to join it, right? You know,
I love it.
It's really good. We're like, no, this is a mansplaining free zone. We're good, thanks.
We mansplain each other. Don't get me wrong. All genders can mansplain, and we do mansplain, but it's in a different spirit.
Yeah, exactly. So with the AI Salon, I'll share a similar sort of thing. So this past week, Suzanne Welker-Juergens and Cindy Kuhn put on what we call a Learn Out Loud. And a Learn Out Loud is basically an hour-long session to learn something. And they did it on making merch, using AI to make merch. And how do you make stickers and T-shirts and things like that, right? Really, really successful thing. And it was also a kickoff for Cindy is heading up the prototyping club within the AI Salon Mastermind. So within the AI Salon, so the AI Salon is a free community, but within it, there's this thing called the Mastermind. And the Mastermind is a subscription area of the salon, and we've got clubs and hubs, and people can develop deeper relationships and do things like prototyping sprints, where over a course of weeks you can build things together. And so that one is coming up. I'm really excited about that one, the prototyping club, and it's gonna be really good. Cindy leads it, and it's always a good time. So the salon is just 3,000 AI optimists. You and I both believe that being in community right now is where it's at for the future of work, and for getting up to speed on AI, because no one's got their head around it yet. So you might as well hang out with some folks that are trying to figure it out too, right?
Yeah, no one else wants to talk to you anyway. So we
Great. And why don't you tell the folks about the AI Readiness Training Program, which we are now live. We are officially launched.
We are live and launched with the AI Readiness Training Program, which one of the neat things about this is that it is connected to communities. It is connected to social proof, and there's a certificate, and you get to show the world that, like, I'm not just out here on my island, right? I'm learning from people who are totally relatable, like other people. They're not, celebrities. They're not like tech bros. They're really literally people just like us. And we cover business, we cover creativity, we cover ethics, we cover, AI leadership in your community. And all of it is based on more general. It's not based on the tech or the tools.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you bring yourself to the equation? And when you get this kind of a general education, I think you become like very, very highly sought after. Your skill sets are highly sought after, because most of us Gen Xers have grown up with a couple of different zones of genius, right? At most, right? Because we're supposed to pick up one thing and do that for the rest of our lives. And run it. So here we are. We're now stuck with a couple of these like deep-seated, skill sets. But now with AI, just inherently, we can also be a generalist. But the ability, if we're able to learn from all these relatable people across a whole bunch of different kind of themes, now we come out of there and we're both a generalist and a specialist in our areas, which is the superpower. You want to take your specialization, add an understanding of AI. You need to be able to see around the corner. And that's what this gives you. It gives you the opportunity to see around the corner. And people should definitely take it. It won't be, out of date anytime soon, because it's evergreen type.
It's universal.
Content.
This is about AI mindset. It's about flipping your mindset into being adaptable and curious and all those sort of things. Thinking critically about how you use AI, and those are skills that are going to persist no matter how the technology changes. So
it's a self-paced course. It'll take you, a handful of hours. You can pick and choose what to do, first, second, fourth, whatever. And it's available on areyouready4ai.com, which is the R and the U, and then ready.
And then the number 4.
And then the number 4.
And then 2 letters.
And then an A
simple.
and an I.
A, you can remember, it's the first letter. And then I is sometime after that. Let's move on. Let's get our special guest up here.
Put people out of their misery.
Why don't you tell the good people about Sid? I'm so excited about Sid and bringing him up here.
Well, Sid is one of the pieces of proof I would give anybody who says, TikTok is dumb, or it's just for dancing, or it's just for kids, or whatever. Like, I found Sid, just the algorithm delivered Sid to my feed. And
That's awesome.
And we had just gotten, first we just got to know each other through each other's content. And then we kind of unpeeled the onion, and he learned a little bit about my background. I learned a little bit about his background. We got together, we could probably go and move mountains together any day. And I would have never known him if it weren't for TikTok. And I'm so excited for the nice people to meet Sid too.
Sid Hargro, welcome.
Welcome to you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. Enjoyed the first part of your session.
And I haven't yet mentioned, and we'll hopefully weave this in, but we have a mutual friend. All three of us are also huge fans of Kimberly Offord, who Sid, right? So,
absolutely. Yeah. Kim has been a significant part of this journey of mine, and she still does.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Sid, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell the good folks what you're up to, what you want them to know about you, what's going on, and where your head is these days.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the journey story for me is I've always been, I think I was kind of born a tech nerd, right? So I actually started as an engineer, a design engineer, and then and as you said, this idea of digging deeper, this Gen X spirit of focusing on one area, I transitioned to the social impact space. And so for most of my time, I've been in and around social impact and both leading organizations and consulting and advising. But, the tech part of me, the innovation part, it's not really tech. It's really this innovation, continuous improvement side of me just kept, stayed with me the whole time. And so with this introduction of AI a couple of years ago, to me, it's just opened up an entirely new world. And it's given me an opportunity to not only look at it from the perspective of how it might make some of the things that I do more efficient or help me brainstorm and all of that, to actually using it also with my creative side, and which has been really, really exciting.
Go for it. Oh, Kyle, were you going to ask a question? Okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so on TikTok right now, you are in the midst of 30 days of stories, right? A story a day for 30 days. What have you learned about yourself through that? I mean, I've been learning about you and I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. What have you learned about yourself through telling these stories?
Such a great question. I would say the main thing that I've learned about myself through that process has been that my story actually matters, that
Oh, it so
sharing it
matters.
matters, and that sitting on it is like sitting on opportunity for others as well, right? And so the whole idea of it came along because probably over a month ago, started to really get the sense that I needed to share my voice.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
need to share my voice both through imagery, through stories, et cetera. So, you know what? Why not use TikTok for that? There's an audience of some sort, right? Of some size. And I was like, August is a good day. It's a good time, right? It was right around August 1. It's like, I'm going to do 31 days and see if I can actually come up with 31 stories.
Wow, that's amazing. And
and
these are all stories from your life?
from my life. These are real, true stories from childhood all the way through to as recently as weeks ago.
Wow.
And a lot of them, were in early childhood. There were some through college, postgraduate space, and then also in more recent years. And so it's been really, really exciting. I had no idea that I had 31 stories in me.
Yeah.
That was the funny part, right? I
You,
was like,
yeah.
I actually have these stories.
Yeah. We have way more than we think. And how are you? What's been the relationship with AI and getting the stories out? And I hear a lot of things about people talk about AI can't be creative and things like that. And I experience it other ways. I'm curious what your relationship with it is as you're telling such personal tales.
Yeah, well, I mean, although I have not, other than structure, I have
Mhm.
not really used it a lot in the stories, but it actually came about as also as a part of my understanding of how AI can be used to tell stories, right? And used to tell stories with imagery. So in my mind, I think in images. That's the
Mm.
way my brain operates. And so as I'm telling the story, some people will go directly to writing it,
Mhm.
and I try to write almost as if there are no like it's a silent movie. Like, what is the experience of this moment?
Oh,
What
that's
is the
great.
experience of this story as it felt, for me while I was going through it? And then I start to tell the story. Well,
That's
it's
great.
the same thing. That's the same concept that I use in kind of AI film, or
Yeah.
AI reel making, or telling other stories through AI. Is like I try to get to the experience
Yeah.
of what I'm trying to project as opposed to the details of what the actual words are.
That's great. So are any of these stories going to turn into films
That
or
is that's a
photo
good
essays?
question. That's a good question. I'm not there yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they do,
Yeah.
because I think, since I was really introduced to AI for storytelling through the 2024 AI Festivus,
Yeah.
and Kimberly offered, I've been really using it as an opportunity to say, okay, what is my experience like, and how do I create very, very short video around that. So I have like 2 or 3 different projects that are about my experience. I haven't just directly connected to one of the stories yet.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so
No,
for
no
example,
pressure.
I was,
It just seemed exciting, especially because
no, it was
you
great.
think
It's a
so
great
visually.
idea. I mean, one of the stories that I am working on is, at the start of the pandemic, one of the things that we all experienced when we were shut in is we started to actually get to know ourselves.
Mhm.
And when we started to get to know ourselves, we started to realize that there was a mask,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
that we were wearing all this time to basically help others kind of feel a certain kind of way or to
Mm.
fit in a certain context. And so there's like one actual story that I'm working on that is about taking off that mask, and what was the experience like of first realizing that you had it on, and then the process of taking it off.
Right.
Dang.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a common story. I mean, I think as I talk to others, like, well, what did you really learn from being shut in? I was like, yeah, I kind of got to know myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody to talk to. I couldn't go to, wasn't seeing anyone. And so this opportunity of getting to know, and the part of transformation that happens when you first get to know yourself, and then you realize you actually kind of like yourself a little bit, and then you try that moves along. It's like, well, wait a minute, I want to share this part of me, right?
Yeah.
And AI is an opportunity to do that in such widespread fashion that I have not experienced before, certainly in my lifetime.
Do you so if you were to like sit down, if you were like, today's the day that I am going to really see how I can use AI in my storytelling. Like, I'm going to spend a whole day playing around with it, trying to make something. What would be your like first couple of moves? How would you set up a project?
No, that's good.
That's such a great question. I would start with simply, outside of the platforms, jotting down doing a brain dump, right?
Brain dump.
Of whatever concept, right? And then taking that brain dump over to ChatGPT or some other kind of platform to really brainstorm around how to structure it for a certain audience for a certain amount of time. So if I'm trying to tell a story in 90 seconds, that's different than 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And so that's something that it would take me hours to try to figure out, how does this story change based upon the length of time? How does it change based upon the audience, right?
Yeah.
It's the same story, but what's the nuance? And so I would use it to actually help me brainstorm around that. And then if it was moving to kind of a short story or short film or that type of structure, I would also then use it to brainstorm around storyboarding, right?
Okay.
What are the storyboards? What are the shots, right? What are the main shots? What shots need to be close-ups versus setting shots where you're far away? Which shots need to be aerial, right? Looking down. And so those are things that, I'm not trained as a filmmaker. So I don't know all of that, but I'm learning through the process of these suggestions how to actually do that.
I really love, I want to emphasize for the good people, but just acknowledge for you that step one was not ChatGPT. That step one was,
Correct.
let me check in with myself, right?
That's
let
right.
me get some ideas out of my head, right? Whether it's a whiteboard or a notepad or just even closing your eyes and taking a breath. That to me feels, if there's a superpower in using AI, because it's so fast, if we can have the discipline to take a moment before to say, well, wait, what do I actually want here? Right? To your point, who's the audience? How do I want to affect them? What's the time frame? I just want to reinforce that, because that to me feels so important.
It's not only important, I really feel like it's essential to actually moving along in readiness, right? This idea of, okay, if I move away from it as this thing that is taking everything away and look at it as this opportunity to figure out how to dig deeper into my skill, deeper into my gifts, deeper into my own story, and then help me with the things that I don't know about, sharing that with the world, right? I don't know. I didn't go. I would love to have gone to film school, but I didn't, right?
Right.
So how do I take this story, which is something that I designed and I wrote or I came up with, and then but put it in a structure that is digestible, right? And so that gives me a chance to use it as a tool that knows things that I don't know and can help me then leverage it. It's about leveraging AI for with my own gifts and gills and talents, etc.
Yeah.
How about in telling other people's stories? So you and I are both in social impact, and we have so many stories to tell, right? And
Yes.
you know, we're aware that that the stories of our clients or our beneficiaries or the people who we serve, it's their story. It's not
That's
my
right.
story, right? And
That's
it's
right.
not ChatGPT's story either, right?
That's right.
But here
That's
we
right.
are, right? Now we have ChatGPT open. We have this person's story. We have some documents about their thing. How would you recommend using AI for ethical storytelling about beneficiaries in the social impact sector so that you're not exploiting them?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a great question, something I haven't thought about, but I do have some ideas because I do believe that one of the greatest challenges that we face certainly today, but have always faced, right, is how do you get the story of those who are on the ground having the greatest impact, but no one knows, right? Because they may not be the organization that is of a certain size that a larger foundation would either be aware of them or even care about them. But how do you get those stories from the ground that they are actually inch for inch, pound for pound, having greater impact sometimes than larger organizations,
Yeah.
right? And so you start kind of just without, similar to what I said before. I would assume that I would start with you tell the story first. It's your
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
right? We're going to listen, we're going to capture that story. And now let's use, later, let's use a tool to say, what are the different ways and the different places and the different vehicles through which you can have that story distributed?
Yes.
If we're going to put video to it, what are even if we're using a real kind of video, iPhone or some
Mhm.
other tool, what are the angles to get this story in a most compelling way out to the audience that needs to hear it,
Yeah.
right? So you still start with the human, you start with the human
Yeah.
story, you
Yep.
start with the actual impact, and you start with the intent, right, of amplifying what's already there.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That's
Beautiful.
it. Boom.
Beautiful.
Love it.
So good. It's so good. There's there's so much to talk about here, and it's what I love about the conversation so far is that in a lot of ways it's had nothing to do with AI, and that to some degree feels very right to me. Right, that
Mhm.
Yeah.
this is about us as people, and it's about as meaning making machines that we are, that storytelling is everything, and that just finding that relevance as the core of what you do independent of the
Yeah.
tool feels very right to me.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. Now with that,
hmm hmm
we ask our guests the same three questions. It's the AI readiness project. Question number one for
Yeah.
you that we asked. This
Yeah.
is question one of what we ask our guests. What was the
Sure.
tipping point for you where you knew you had to go all in on AI, and what's it been like since?
Excellent question again. And I have to first say that I think whether the two of you know it or not, you all were a part of kind of my readiness journey from the very
Wow,
start.
that's awesome.
And I say in 2023, I somehow came across, I think it was actually through the TikTok feed, and where I found out about the AI Festivus, and I think it was 23. Yeah, 23 and then 24.
Yeah.
But I went with just curiosity. That's all I had. I hadn't used it.
Hmm.
But I was like, wait a minute, if people are coming together to talk about this for an entire weekend, Give me their time. And it's like a lot of them, right? And on and on. I was like,
it was a lot.
Right? I was like, I've never heard of this before, you know? Well, I literally blocked off my weekend. I was like, I won't be at my desk the whole time, but I'm going to be there several different times during the day, each day.
Wow.
Right? And so I went from curiosity to saying, okay, I'll try it. And then in 2024, I would say the real turning point, the real tipping point was AI Festivus 2024, where I went from just using it to actually being an advocate and figuring out ways for me to dive in and put myself into it in a way that allowed me to create more. That's when I met Kimberly Offord. And less than a month later, I was creating my first 3-minute short film.
Wow, that's so amazing.
And I was like, I don't even know anything about a short film. I said, but I have stories. How do I tell these stories? And she was like, yeah, come on aboard. And guess what? We're having a short film contest in March. I was like, okay. So
you went from nothing to entering a contest.
In March. That was what, December, the end of December?
Oh my goodness.
January.
And by March, I was entering a contest.
You were a filmmaker. It's funny. I asked Joy Purdy about her filmmaking because she was really good right out of the gate. And I asked her, and she said, I never knew anything about film, but I've always had these stories I've wanted to tell. I've always wanted to be able to tell stories this way, and now I can. And it's that just to hear that from you it's so powerful, right? Because again, it comes back to like what are you up to in the world? What are you wanting to put in the world, right?
That's right. Yeah, the stories were already there.
Yeah.
The interest and the passion to share them was already there. But now you actually have another medium by which to not only do it, but to do it in a way, again, for different audiences, different periods of time, 30-second, 90-second, 3 minutes or more, right? That changed everything for me. And then I went, and the other piece of it then, even though that was my on-ramp, in order to actually go through that process, you all of a sudden are finding out how to use these other tools with other use cases, right?
Yeah.
And so you enter through the creativity door, but you're starting to use it organizationally. You're starting to use it for how you organize your day, your week, and how you spend your time. And how do you do it with kind of a neurodivergent mind like mine, right? And so you get to structure things differently, all but based on going through initially that creativity door. But now I can talk to other organizations or other creators or other artists or other people. It's like, yeah, this actually help me structure my day.
Beautiful.
Wow. Love it. Oh my gosh. Well, if Kyle, I know I'll speak for Kyle too, like if we have any tiny part of more Sid stories getting out into the world, then we're winning.
Exactly.
That was worth it. Okay, now we love this next question with our particularly with our multi-passionates. What trends in AI are you paying attention to right now?
Yeah, I would say that the top trend most recently that I've really started to see emerge, even though I'm sure it was already kind of popping up, is just that it came to my awareness. And that is, there's so many different groups that are forming to share with each other from within different spaces, right? So there are groups within the nonprofit space. There's groups within the small business space. There's groups within the creative space. And there's so many that you can find a space, because I really believe that not just with, certainly with AI, but I would say in general, we're in the moment where the collective matters.
Yes.
We're in a moment where you cannot go it alone on anything.
Nope.
And so the opportunity is, hey, there are all of these different groups where you can just casually become a part of, start to get engaged in however based on wherever you are. And they don't really care whether you just started yesterday or you've been doing it for 3 years or 2 years or whatever. So I think that's really the number one trend. And then the other piece is one that I've actually stumbled upon, because this white wall behind me is a part of my own kind of creation of like, what does it look like to use creativity and AI in different ways? And that is this space of kind of interior decor, decorating and image development for individual spaces. And so I've been experimenting with developing images that matter to me, that will eventually, very shortly, end up being on this wall behind me and being a part of this office remake.
Oh, wow. So those images, the images that you had people voting on, you made those?
Yes.
On your TikTok? Oh God, the woman with the blue woman, the jazz singer, obsessed. Talent. So good. So good.
Yeah.
I love this. Are you gonna work with other people to help them redesign their spaces maybe?
It's really interesting.
You never know, right?
That one post got around, like, well, wait a minute. Where did these come from? And I was like, there's an opportunity to decorate your space that based on images that make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you don't have to simply,
so good,
go to TJ Maxx and try to hope that there's something there. Right. No. You can create.
You get to design it. You get to create it.
You can design it based on what you have.
Yeah. The other thing I would say about communities and being in groups like that is that I think that one of the perceptions is that to be able to be good at AI, you have to be technical, you have to be a mathematician, you have to be an engineer, and it's just not true. But I think what you also discover is what you just did, that I am consistently seeing people essentially Forrest Gumping their way, like stumbling into new careers just because there's a new capability there. Like this thing you just described could totally end up being like a whole career direction for you, right? Like you might become an interior designer, who knows? But just you get inspired. You see someone else do something where they're just like, oh, I can now make my own images. Wait, I'm going to redo my space in that, and that you never know where that's going to lead or who that's going to inspire to do something else, right? So for me, that idea of just
Kyle,
getting the juice of other people kind of rediscovering, their humanity is what it's all about. Beautiful.
That is absolutely.
Okay. Third question. And this is the most self-serving, admittedly, but I also love this question. What does AI readiness mean to you? And then what would you say to someone who was where you were in 23? Like, I guess I need to deal with this now, right? Someone just getting started. So what does AI readiness mean to you? And what would you say to someone?
Yeah. It's going to sound like the same story all over, but I am at my core an educator. So I think about the readiness from the standpoint of 101, 201, and 301, right? And that is not levels of knowledge. It's really just your readiness to different depths of the work. So I would say initially it is, do you have the curiosity to investigate? That's readiness 101, the curiosity to actually investigate and take the action of investigating. And that was me in 2023.
Yeah.
I would say 201 is when that action moves to a commitment that has, in my case, kind of like a daily exploration of how it might actually be beneficial to where you're going. Right. And uncovering that there's some degree of consistency of digging, if you will. And then 301, which is, again, as someone who has kind of a creator builder mindset. And that is when you get to the point where you realize that the speed of innovation and obsolescence is an opportunity. Right. There's actually an opportunity because this is not about all the experts are out there doing X, Y, Z. The question is, how do you start from where you are and what you have to offer and what your gifts and skills are, and realize that things are changing at such a fast pace that this idea of old where you had to be an expert at things, like, it's not there, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's obsolete is this idea that you have to pursue everything based on what you know, right?
Gosh.
We're in
Yes.
a moment now where it is
Wow.
about pursuing experimentation, leaning into what you don't know.
Oh,
And
that's so good.
that's what building the future is about. So that 301 space is where you really get to kind of stretch out and say, okay,
Yeah.
well, good. Like, what can I create today?
Wow,
Right?
that's so good, Sid.
You know,
So good.
one of the things that I used to think about, and I feel like it was like in the zeitgeist for a while, and then maybe we stopped talking about it or something, but you know, there was a long period of my life where I believed that what we're best at isn't necessarily what our mission is, right? It just because we're
Ah,
good at it
Truth,
doesn't mean
truth,
right?
yes.
It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that
truth.
that's the thing that we were really brought here to do. We were good at it, and we were good at it, so people started paying us to do it, and then we got a little better at it, and
That's right.
finally
That's
now
right.
this is this track, and we were Gen X. But
That's
what
right.
if this is our very, very, very moment to go, what do I not know how to do? Oh,
Mm,
interior design.
right.
I'm going to go learn how to be an interior designer. Even if you gave yourself that exercise on Saturday for 2 hours, I'm going to pretend I have an entirely different career.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so great. That's so
Freaking
great.
go for it.
That's so
Maybe
great.
that's what you were put here
That's
for.
so
Yeah.
great.
It's so good.
I've always said that just because you can doesn't mean you should. Can and
Yeah,
should
that's
is
great.
two totally different things, right?
Yeah.
The should is closer to purpose. It's closer to who you are. The can has a lot to do with a lot of what other folks has kind of guided you toward or said that you're great
Yeah.
at,
Yeah.
right? And this is a moment where we're imagining the future is really about leaning into the should,
The
right?
should. Yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing that you can do that.
Yeah.
Truly,
Let's
truly.
just do some stuff we don't know how to do.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe even take it a step further. Try stuff that you've convinced yourself that you can't do.
Can't.
No, that you can't
Oh my
do.
gosh.
Right? The
No.
thing that,
Snap.
you know, when
Yeah.
stepdaddy told you
Yeah.
when you were 7 you couldn't do that thing and you believed him, maybe that's the thing to lean into next.
Oh, yeah, as Josh Houston would tell us, he's our Gen Z mentor. He would tell us that sometimes you need a little bit of spite to do something new.
Yeah.
So you think about that person who told you you couldn't
Yeah, that's
do
great.
XYZ thing. That's how
Totally.
you decide what you're going to do. Think of the thing
Totally.
that somebody told you you couldn't do and go do it. I
So
dare
good.
you.
Yep. And look at the use case of where we are in this moment. Like, the world has changed so much since December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are things that people thought could not happen since December. That's not even a year, right? And then you go back to like 2019 before the pandemic. Look at how much has changed, right? This is an opportunity to do exactly what you all are talking about, saying there's nothing that is impossible here.
Exactly.
There's not.
There's not.
Go do it.
There's
Go
not.
be great.
Sid, this has been awesome. So there's
Sid.
Sid's TikTok. Please go subscribe to Sid's TikTok. I know you got a bunch of stuff going on, so I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll tell the good people on your TikTok they can at least find you there. I assume they can find you on LinkedIn and things like that. Thank you so much for just being
Thank you,
such a
Sid.
beautiful human being and such a source of inspiration today.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
Thank you both. And I appreciate you.
Appreciate you very much. Very
Likewise.
much.
All right. See you later.
Bye,
Thanks.
everybody.
Take care, all.